Got you. Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. There's something that's going on around the world. We know that. That's dangerous, catastrophic. Also, there's something that's going on here in America that's just as dangerous, just as threatening. For years and years and years, black men have been persecuted, beaten down, and our youth today are being killed. They're being killed by other friends and foes, but they're being killed institutionally with the system that we have in play that drives them to do the things that they do, which in many cases are in violation of laws that have been set to protect the status quo at the expense of the brothers and sisters that are doing time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, many of you are thinking what happened in St. Louis, what happened in New York, what happened in Mississippi, what happens in Chicago, what happens in LA, what happens in every state of the union. And many of you are tired of it, and rightly so. Many of you are ready to go to blow with the system. Many of you are really ready to fight, tear down. But I want you to know that is not a smart move. For all of the reasons that you can think of, that's not a smart move. But there are others as well, other things that you can think of. For instance, the solution to the problem. I want you to recognize this, that the cops that are doing these killings all across this country of blacks and other ethnic minorities and whites as well, many times they do it in self-defense, but most of the time they do it just to take a life. Give them an excuse, give them a little leeway, and they'll take a life. But they don't know any better. Now you hear people say, well, these are bad cops and they are good cops who don't do these things, but there are good cops who don't do these things, who know that these things take place, and they go along with it while they have sworn to protect you, but they're protecting themselves while being paid by you and doing the things to you. But they are being paid to do that. They have been trained to do the things that they do. People who benefit from the system are being trained every day. Those of you who are in school, you're being trained every day. Those of you who go to church, you're being trained every day. But these things here occur, and you ask yourself, why are these things occurring now? Is there a call for war within the United States? Is there a cry for that? Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. People do what they do because they do not know any better. If they knew better, they would not do it. The system teaches us. I was just a few months ago, woke up on a Sunday morning with the television on, and I heard a preacher lady talking about Israel and somebody throwing bombs on what the people should do in the United Nations as a result, or in response, what the United States should do. And her answer was that they should get as many bombs as they possibly can and go and attack Israel's enemies and get rid of them. Don't even give them a shot. And you see, she's standing up there talking to you about God. I don't know that God that's ready to go and bomb nations of people up. I don't know that God. But you do, because You're listening to her. There's another preacher with a mega church a few years back was telling the people of this nation to accept the fact that the United States was threatened. It was a prosperous nation. Everybody envied it. And that poor nations should stay poor. The United States can help them out a little bit, but don't try to make them solid. Don't try to make them standard, because they would then attack the United States and then possibly get together with other nations who are pissed off with the United States for one reason or another and conquer us. Now, there's a mega church being taught that kind of stuff. Why do you think Christian people sit back and compete in politics, Republicans and Democrats and otherwise? Why do you think they do that? Because they have been taught to do that. They have not been taught the way of love. They have not been taught the way of God. And that is why you see nothing getting better. You see people looking for solutions to problems, even the church, who say that they're looking for solutions wrapped up within the way that things are done within this nation. There is no solution to anything in this nation the way that this nation is designed. No, it was designed to do exactly what it's doing. It was designed, let me repeat, to do exactly what it's doing. Now, you who are listening to me, you have been programmed to accept this. You have been programmed to believe that what you're doing is the godly way to perform. And your reward will be in heaven. I got a bad picture coming out here. Doesn't look right. Anyway, your rewards are going to be in heaven. Now, doesn't that sound suspect to any thinking person? Remember, they told you that hell broke loose in heaven, and they kicked it out. They say that hell broke loose in the garden, and they kicked it out. And hell is all around us, but somebody came and died, and in spite of all the hell that's around us, you will be taken back up to heaven if you believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. All the hell that's in you right now, gonna get a chance to get a free ride to heaven. Does that make any sense at all? Look, for those of you who study the Bible, many of you know that the Bible says there will be those of you who lay hands on the sick and they recover. There are those of you who will cast out demons in the Father's name. There are those of you who will walk through the valley of the shadow of death without fearing evil and come through it. And even that, if it can be said, that you denied the least of any human being that comfort that the Father has prepared for everybody, if you participated directly or indirectly in causing the pain and suffering of others, God don't want to hear nothing about you casting out demons. Don't want to hear nothing about you laying hand on the sick and they recover. Because as often as you've done it unto the least of anybody, you've done it unto God. You've done it unto yourself. Now you say, how could you protect yourself from something like this? This is too big for you. You took up donations. You gave to the Salvation Army. You gave, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's the system's way. That's not God's way. The system's way allow you to feel good by giving a little to this and that. But the need is never eradicated, and you are satisfied with that. So the least of these who God has prepared that they could enjoy their dreams are denied their dreams with your support. And why are you supporting it? Because you do not know any better. If you knew better, you wouldn't do it. So I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this, but it's not going to change you. I'm just like giving you some theory, giving you some truths that you have been denied. Because I want you to know this. Let me say this, going to turn a lot of you. I'm a preacher. I'll admit it. But I don't preach the Bible. There are a lot of things I refer to in the Bible, but I don't preach the Bible. Because like any other book that is written by man gets corrupt, so is the Bible. Now, many people don't believe that the Bible has any wrong information in it, because the Bible told them that there was no wrong information in it. And so they accepted that, and they're passing that on along. And all of that, since the beginning of time up until this time, all of that they have taught you about God through that book, it has done nothing except allowed us to be coming to what we're calling the end time. It hasn't done anything to cause you to stand up and glorify God. It has not done one iota to show love through the creation of peace and prosperity for us all that brings joy. Now, ever since we've been talking about Christianity, ever since we've been talking about Judaism and Hinduism and all of the isms and all of the religion, ever since we've been talking about it, has the world gotten any better? Sure, technology has caused you to advance, but all of the technology that was designed to make things better for the human race have been suckered to the corner to rip people off. So that some got so much. That was just the other day. A guy was called back to the Minnesota Twins for 1 year contract that it was mentioned on the news for $10 million. $10 million, ladies and gentlemen. $10 million. Hey, there's nothing wrong with him coming and playing for $10 million. The problem is, and you don't have to play ball, but whatever you're doing, if he's worth $10 million, so are you. If he's worth $100 million, so are you. You're a school teacher. He's playing football. He's worth $30 million. So are you. So are you. He's nothing more than you. His expenses and desires and dreams and aspirations for life is no greater than yours. The Father knows this. The Father prepared that might be met. But you got people down here who don't know anything about God. See, I don't teach from the Bible. I teach from the Spirit. I teach from what the Spirit tells me. And what it tells me, I tell you. I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm letting you know I do. And if it'll work for me, I'm sure it'll work for you. Now, what am I saying to you? I am saying to you that regardless of how many blacks are being killed, standing up is a bold and wonderful thing. But stand up for a solution, not react. Take an action, a positive action. Violence is nothing but a begetter of violence. You're not going to accomplish anything with violence. I promise you that. You might feel good when you took somebody down, but it doesn't accomplish a darn thing as far as the problem is concerned. So why don't we listen to someone who talks about and has spent his lifetime talking about peace? First of all, remember, no justice, no peace. Nor should there be peace. Nor should there be peace. Now, am I suggesting that there should be a battle? People always tell me, I'll go fight for you. Is there a fight that is required in this situation? No. What is required is that you stand up and you resist injustice. You stand up in the face of injustice and those who perpetrate it and resist it. Demand that they change their ways or take your life. Demand that they change their ways or take your life. Now, here's the difference. Only people that can stand up and say that, you would call them fools. You would call them stupid and ignorant. But no, they are the free ones. They are the ones who know the truth. Let me tell you something. When the natives were fighting, when this country was being populated by other people, you know the story, if the story is true. The natives fought back. They fought fire with fire, violence with violence, and they were losing. And so they acquiesced, buckled under, and they became footstools. And really, today, they are still footstools according to the way they are treated in the system. Every native, and I mean this with all of the love that I can muster, every native under that type of persecution should have chosen, not been running and hiding, chosen to walk on the front line and give up their lives. Don't do like the Jews that were marched into these concentration camps not knowing what was going on, but stand up and demand that they treat you fair or take your life. Now, I say that the natives should have done that, but I also say blacks, when they were brought over here in this country, if they had known God, every last one of them would have gone to the cross. They would have taken nails in their hands and their feet being pierced in the side with rainbow stickers in their head. And glory to die if they knew God. But they, not knowing God, you had to humble yourself and respect the God that you did know. And what God did you know? The God that was ready to put a whip on you. The God that was ready to kill your butt if you didn't straighten up. So you gave in to that God. And so what I'm saying to the people of America and the people of the world, that is your God. You are afraid of the systems that you have established. You have established systems that robs the people of that which has been provided for them. Every facet in every land. Not only have you robbed them, they, in their ignorance, just as you, have allowed, and you know who you are, those, you robbers, you know who you are. Look in your barns and see what you got. You were told that you were good businessmen. You were told that you were smart. You were told that, and people love you for it. People just walk around and they see you, they just want to be close to you, like some of that power is going to rub off on them. But the truth of it is that you are a thief. Now, you are a legal thief because you did this within the process that said it was okay. But morally, you are a thief. You are a thief. And that, my friend, you can't hide. Just look at the bank. Because see, we look at money. Those who got money. Look where the money is. And you see who robbed you. You'll see who you helped to rob you. Now, I'm talking about this right now. Spend a lot of time going over certain things because some of you are very slow. You don't hear this conversation. Sometimes you're in the shower, you talk about this with yourself. But to hear someone else talk about it, you don't hear that. So I'm giving you a chance to absorb what I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you, there's one way to win. There's one way to win. You got to be better. You got to be more loving and much more kinder and compassionate than the people that rule the world. The people that rule the world care about themselves. And that group that is required to give them the wherewithal to go on and do what they do. But other than that, they don't even care about those, so let alone us. But the power that made us care about us, and those that don't care about us. See, if you stand up and do the right thing, the world will change. And if it doesn't, you will be sucked out of this baby like waking up from a nightmare in the twinkling of an eye, and your dream will become real. I'm just telling you this because you don't know this. Now, somebody might ask, why am I still here knowing all the stuff that I'm telling you to be true? I'm here, I'm still here, because I was bought with a price. And that price is that I stay here as long as I'm allowed to share with you this information that you're not getting from anybody else. Now, there might be some other people out there that's giving you this, or the preachers I'm talking about. There are some people that's not in the church that's giving you this information. I don't want you to think that I'm the only one talking. No, I'm the only one that I see. I'm the only one that I hear. But I know that there are others. Every now and then I run across some. They're talking this heavy stuff. They don't put too much into God because they know that the God that you talk about, the God that you advocate and you worship and stuff like that is doing them no good. I had a dope dealer once to say to me, Eddie, I like your program, brother, but the God you talk about ain't paying no bills. I have to sell dope to get money to pay bills. That's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Who put in the situation? Now, the first thing you would say is he ought to get an education, go to school, and get a job. See, that shows how well you have been trained, because you actually believe that will work. It doesn't matter that thousands and thousands, perhaps millions of people who graduated from college are unemployed or in debt trying to pay for going to school. It doesn't matter to you because you can't think like that. All you can think about is the way you've been programmed to think. Anyway, I won't fuss anymore tonight, but I will leave this with you. Don't get mad and start fighting because people don't know any better. But stand up. Stand up and tell the world that black folks being killed is not going to continue. Why? Because black people are going to receive decency and dignity in their lives from one another. And when I say one another, I'm talking about all of us. We're going to start respecting one another. We're going to start respecting one another by making sure that everybody who wants a job be qualified to get that job, and that job's door is open and they can enter into that field and contribute to the goods and services that we as a people have determined that we want. Everybody. And once you can contribute in the process of this creating stuff, that entitles you to take from it the potions that you need. You don't need someone telling you that you got to buy this. Those are your thieves. Those are your crooks. Your economists. The people who tell you, well, we got to raise this price, and then pass it straight on down to you. Everybody wins but you. Somebody sits on the other end and say, well, we've been selling this for $5. Let's raise it to $7. Well, you think you can get away with it? Just pass it on down. Well, you pass it on down. Everybody, well, it's going up for me. Well, let me pass it on down. It's going up for me. Pass it on down. And in the end, everybody up that chain survived. Everybody up that chain profited. But you were the only loser in that deal. You, the only loser. And you know what? Everything that's in your house, everything that's in your garage, in your car, that's in your refrigerator, all of that was produced by your brothers and sisters, humankind. Yes, they were paid money, but they didn't have to be paid money. That was part of the scam. That was how they tricked you. And then they turn right back around and say, you can get this stuff that you need, you can get this stuff that you want, but you got to give me that money back. So you working for what? You're not working to get no stuff. You working to stay a slave. Let me, come on. I'll talk to you more next time. Bye-bye.